On an isolated Scottish island, a ghost story becomes real when a drone operator uncovers evidence that the island's missing lighthouse keepers may not be dead after all. It's me, and this is the first ever episode of Real Unsolved Mystery, a series based on actual unsolved mysteries from around the world. Viewer discretion is advised for this episode, as some may find the following content disturbing or offensive. In 1900, Thomas Marshall Stephen was the head keeper at the Eilean Mor Lighthouse on the Isle of Eriska in Scotland. On December, he and his two assistants, James Duckett and Donald McCafferty, disappeared without a trace. Their final logbook entry read, "The storm is coming, but the sky is clear," and since no wreckage was found, it was assumed they had simply been washed away by the raging storm. The mystery of what happened to them has endured for over a century until now. One crisp autumn morning in 2020, drone operator Harry Street was working on an investigation off the coast of Scotland. He was attempting to uncover the truth behind the vanished lighthouse keepers of Eilean Mor. The deserted lighthouse sits about 130 feet tall and dominates the landscape of the small island. It was built in 1846 and operated until 1911, when it was deemed obsolete and abandoned. The nearby mainland town of Eilean had a population of around 300 people at the time, with most living in crofting communities scattered across the island. Life on the island was largely unchanged for hundreds of years until the lighthouse was constructed. It wasn't long before whispers began circulating around town of strange lights being seen near the abandoned lighthouse and eerie figures roaming the island at night. Over the years, rumors suggested that there were as many as 24 ghosts haunting Eilean Mor. The local townspeople believed that the spirits of the island's former lighthouse keepers were searching for answers. Could their bodies still be trapped inside the lighthouse, or perhaps they were wandering the cliffs looking out to sea, hoping to catch a glimpse of their final resting place? Some even claimed to have heard disembodied voices echoing across the windswept moors. It was said that these were the voices of the men calling out for help. Whatever the truth, the legend of Eilean Mor's ghost had grown so strong that paranormal investigators and ghost hunters began visiting the island. One such individual was Harry Street, who had heard about the island's history while working as a lighthouse keeper himself in the Northern Isles. Having left the Royal Navy in 2009, Harry was now a full-time drone operator and writer specializing in maritime history. Intrigued by the legends surrounding Eilean Mor, Harry decided to investigate for himself. Upon arrival at Eilean Mor, Harry immediately noticed something strange. While the lighthouse appeared abandoned, there were several signs that someone had recently been there. Lanterns hung outside the lighthouse, suggesting that someone had been using it as shelter. Food remains and cooking equipment lay scattered about, indicating that whoever was staying there had made camp. But how could this be possible if the island had been deserted for nearly a century? Was this evidence of trespassers, or could the ghosts of Eilean Mor be given form to wander their former post again? Harry decided to take his investigation to the next level by flying his drone through the top window of the lighthouse. But as he maneuvered the drone through the darkness, he saw something that made him freeze. There were 3 sets of footprints leading down the spiral staircase from the top of the lighthouse to the ground floor. The discovery of the footprints provided a crucial clue. Whoever had recently stayed in the lighthouse had only been there for a few days. Because if they'd been living there for longer, the weather would have eroded away any footprints left behind. Plus, the fact that there were 3 sets of footprints meant that the lighthouse hadn't been occupied by just one person, but by multiple people, the same number as the missing lighthouse keepers. Harry followed the tracks and found another set at the back door. Someone had indeed been living in the lighthouse, but where had they gone? Just then, Harry spotted a black object lying on the grass and his heart skipped a beat. Upon closer inspection, he realized it was a cap, identical to the ones worn by the lighthouse keepers in old photographs. But how could this be possible if the men had vanished over 100 years ago? Had they somehow returned to the island? Determined to find out, Harry continued his investigation. The next day, he flew his drone over the island in search of more clues. The drone revealed a narrow path leading down the cliff edge, too small for vehicles but large enough for a person to walk along. Harry followed the path and found more footprints in the dirt. They appeared to be heading toward the sea. But as he continued on, the footprints suddenly stopped, leaving him with more questions than answers. Where did they go? Did they jump into the water? What did they do? Why? As Harry stood there pondering the mystery, he looked up and gasped. The clouds had cleared, and the sun was shining brightly, just as it had been the day the lighthouse keepers vanished. But that wasn't all. There was something else, something strange in the distance. At first, he thought it was a seal or maybe a large dog. But as he watched, the creature moved, revealing itself to be a human. There it was, perched on the rocks at the cliff's edge, flailing its arms and yelling for help. Startled, Harry tried to get closer, but the drone lost signal and his camera couldn't pierce through the thick fog that had descended upon the island. As the minutes passed, the fog grew thicker, making it impossible to see anything. Desperate to uncover the truth, Harry put on his warmest coat and grabbed his camera. He knew that if he didn't do something fast, the storm was going to arrive and he wouldn't be able to stay on the island overnight. With the camera in hand, he started running toward the lighthouse, but as he neared the building, he heard a voice whispering in his ear. "The storm is coming, but the sky is clear." It was the same logbook entry written by the lighthouse keepers all those years ago. But who was speaking? Had the ghosts finally revealed themselves? Then he remembered the drone footage. He quickly retrieved the memory card and examined it under the faint light of his flashlight. And that's when he saw it. Hidden in plain sight was a fourth figure. It was standing silently on the rocks watching him. What made it even more shocking was what it was wearing. It was the exact same coat as the one Harry had on. It was his coat. Just then, the wind picked up, the clouds grew darker, and the first raindrops began to fall. Harry knew he had to get off the island before the storm hit. He quickly called for backup and a helicopter arrived to airlift him to safety. But as he boarded the helicopter, he couldn't help but feel that he had uncovered more questions than answers. Were the lighthouse keepers really alive or was he just seeing things? What was the meaning of the cryptic message? And why was the mysterious figure wearing his coat? These questions have remained unanswered, leaving us to wonder what really happened to the missing lighthouse keepers. Perhaps their spirits will continue to roam the island forever, searching for peace. Or maybe they are still out there somewhere, waiting to be found. I don't know about you, but I would love to hear your thoughts on the case of the vanished lighthouse keepers. If you have any theories, please feel free to share them below. And if you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time on Real Unsolved Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Your support keeps this channel alive and lets us bring you even more creepy, mysterious content. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.